start talking on camera.
Yeah.
Okay.
Board of Works and then Utility Board. Council.
Yeah.
Mooch.
No parks tonight. No parks. Can you have what's on that? Oh, that's right. I thought you were handing it back to me.
I know the mill's out there.
Yeah, I'm just going to sit.
I didn't think about it either.
Ready? Everybody ready? Have your attention, please. Welcome everybody to February 22nd, 2016 council meeting tonight. First, we'll start out with the Board of Works. Roll call, please.
Member Paul Seymour Jr.
Here.
Member Alan Calloway.
Here.
Police Chief Don Combs.
Here.
Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine.
Here.
EMS Director Bobby Mills.
Here.
City Attorney Del Weldon.
Here.
Utility Director Olin Clausen.
Present.
President Kelly Milan.
Here.
And myself.
Okay, for under announcements, anybody got any announcements? I've got one. I just would like to thank everybody for just a heartfelt thanks from the Milan family for all the cards and flowers and the thoughts and your prayers last couple of days with losing our mother, but we know she's doing much better now than she has for quite some time, so we just wanted to say thank you for that. Any other announcements? We'll go to, I just need a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
Motion.
Second?
A second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Committee reports, Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine.
No report, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Police Chief Don Combs.
Just one item, Mayor. I think I mentioned before, selling our old SWAT truck was in there. We have a good prospect that's been looking at it. They're from Jefferson County, Madison, Indiana.
Yeah.
I think they're pretty interested. They came down last week and looked at it. They're going to come again Wednesday. So right tonight, though, I would ask the board permission. There are lights on it and an old radio in the truck. I just ask permission from the board just to keep that in there and sell it as is.
Okay.
Truck.
Any comments about that from you guys? I don't see it being a problem to do that.
Okay, appreciate that.
All right.
Other than that, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. EMS Director Bobby Mills.
Yeah, Mayor, I passed out the statistics for January, and every month you'll get a new sheet. And at the top is the total runs for the month, and we had 185 calls for the month of January. And if you can just look over the rest of to the left side in that column there, if you've got any questions, feel free to ask what some of them mean. Or
I got a question. ALS and BLS.
well, ALS is advanced life support. That's
Okay.
where we actually go beyond the basic means, like we do something like
Okay.
an IV stick or put a heart monitor on someone. That
Okay.
makes it an ALS run.
Okay, and BLS is just basic life support?
Basic is like
Okay.
if we assist a fire call, or we go out and we don't really do anything. It's a sick person, we don't do anything except transport them to vitals. That constitutes as a basic run.
Okay,
So,
all right.
yeah.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Okay. All right, under new business, Mr. Todd, maintenance renewal invoice?
Thank you, Your Honor. In your packet, you'll see from Verdon Bells and Clocks, this is the annual renewal. Counts for 2 visits to maintain and preventive maintenance on the clock tower.
Okay. Down here at the end of Walnut is what we're talking about?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Any questions from the board?
I'd like to make a motion to go forward with.
Okay. Need a second? Mooch a second? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next item, Agner Hall HVAC quotes.
Yes, Your Honor, I'd like to table that at this time. We went out for the verbal solicitation. I'd like to be able to go out for written bids for these.
Okay. All right. Will that have a certain, you just put a spec sheet out with that?
We will.
Mario?
Actually, it's going to be like, kind, or better of the existing unit.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Next item is miscellaneous repairs to River Watch barge quote.
In your packet, you'll see a menu list from Aquarius Marine Service. It's regards to at the end of Walnut Street, the floating restaurant and the mooring docks. If you flip to the second page of that, you'll see the menu itself. I think it was Mr. Seymour, it's probably been, Paul, 3 weeks, we went down and kind of did a hands-on with the Aquarius people to survey what needs to be done. At that time, I think Paul mentioned the cosmetics as far as painting. This particular company has the capabilities of also doing the painting along with the actual welding and patching of the barge.
Okay. All right.
And Mario, are they going to inspect all the floating docks too, as far as opening them up and looking at them?
They will. The existing docks actually have foam, so they actually have to cut an access port and try to do a visual.
There were cracked welds, makeshift ways that they've fastened them together, for the public getting on and off of them, and are we, did the lease get settled? I'm gonna bring it right out.
No, it has not,
Okay,
but it will.
all right, so
We
we're
just
working.
haven't-
I just
yeah.
want to make sure it ain't slid through the cracks. that's
No,
all.
no, no. It's part of it, and I'll bring that up later as well as part of my discussions with the parking garage. So that's going to be part of that lease. So
Okay.
yeah.
Well, now, and the only other question I'd have is, this is specialty work, so we
Correct.
sure, we're not gonna find 3 people
No.
to do this stuff very
No.
close.
You're correct.
Okay. Unless you got some questions on that. I'd like to make a motion to do this work.
Okay. Second.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Mario.
Thank you, sir.
All right, under old business, Mr. Clark, quote award for geotechnical environmental services quote package.
I think Mr. Clark is trying to make copies. He's just waiting me out to the lobby here, maybe.
I thought I saw him come in. Did he walk back out? Good. Hang tight with us for a couple minutes.
He's making copies, Your Honor.
All right.
Just a couple minutes.
We can talk about the weather. It's pretty nice last couple of days.
You figured that one.
That we had to,
It's on Common Council.
I guess Tony do it and not do it
Here,
here.
Common Council.
take care of it. All right.
Bobby's recycling paper. Bobby, he's recycling paper.
This makes me mad.
I'm laughing with you.
Okay, good. We're not going to wait any longer. We're going to table this, and we're going to move on. I just need a motion to review and or discuss the claims for board approval.
I'll make it.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Need a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Utility Board meeting will start as soon as everyone's seated. Okay, City of Lawrenceburg Utility Board meeting for February 22nd, 2016. Could I have a roll call, please?
Member Anthony Abbott. Member Aaron Cook. Member Mel Davis.
Here.
Member Randy Abner.
Here.
Member Paul Seymour Jr.
Here.
City Attorney Del Weldon.
Here.
Utility Director Olin Clausen.
Present.
President Cully Milan.
Here.
And myself.
Okay, any announcements?
Your Honor, I would like to add one item to new business.
Okay,
It's covered under the Common Council agenda, but I want to bring it up here under the Utility Board agenda,
okay.
and it's the writing off of outstanding checks. In the way of announcements, an update on the Utility Roundup program. To date, we've had 48 customers who have enrolled in the program. We've also had a number of customers who've come in and contributed funds to the program outside of actual enrollment. So we're pleased with that. We've got 2 people who have applied for assistance through the program. So I will be going through the review process of those 2 applicants and presenting this board with that information.
Okay, all right. So it's off and running.
Off and running.
Good.
Yep.
Okay. All right, I'm going to make this announcement, I should have earlier, but the reason Aaron Cook is not here tonight is he's attending his grandmother's visitation, I believe is tonight. So we just ask to keep them in their thoughts and prayers. All right, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, then under new business, you want to talk about the outstanding checks?
Yeah, if you would, I'd like to back up and give a few committee reports before we
I'm
get
sorry.
into that.
I missed that.
It's okay.
Yeah, committee reports.
We've talked about this in earlier meetings. We haven't brought it up for some time, but in this coming fall, Lawrenceburg will be hosting the IMEA annual conference, fall conference. Part of that includes a 2-day journeyman lineman skills and safety event, loosely called Lineman Rodeo. For Lawrenceburg, this will be called the Whiskey City Rodeo. So we have labeled it the Whiskey City Rodeo. There's a lot of excitement that's built around this rodeo. We have actually been asked to not talk about it so much right now because there's still a spring conference that IMEA needs to host, and the attention that we're getting for the fall conference is detracting from the attention they're getting for the spring conference. So we're anticipating a high level of participation across the state. We've got a number of rodeo teams that will be coming in from out of state. So we're very excited about that. This will coincide with the bicentennial celebration, the torch coming through Lawrenceburg. We are trying to weave that into the narrative for the annual conference. And this, by the way, this is IMEA's 75th annual conference, so it's a big deal for them. We're expecting for that reason to have higher turnout numbers than they have in the past. We are also working with, or we reached out to the Lauren Hill Foundation, because on one of the nights we're going to have a casino night with all the proceeds for that event going to the Lauren Hill Foundation. So we, again, a way for us to give back to the community. So a number of good things, positive things happening for the utilities in that regard. Yes, sir.
How many folks are you expecting for that?
We are expecting between 250 to 300 people.
Oh, good.
A lot of dignitaries from across the state, from other member communities. IMEA has approximately 79, I believe, 79 member communities that are active participants in the program. And they do a lot of things for Lawrenceburg. They provide us with some safety training. They coordinate a lot of the relief effort in mutual aid, so when there's storm breaks and things like that across the state or other places, East Coast even, they'll coordinate that effort. So valuable organization. Great opportunity for us to shine as a community, as a utility, as a city, and we're looking forward to that opportunity.
Okay.
We have, in-house, through the Google's app platform, the utilities, we have kind of done what I would call a home-brewed work order network process platform. It is tracking all of our capital, retirement, any kind of work order that we do. Everything that we do is tracked through this application that we've developed. IMPA, who is the joint action agency that about 60 member communities buy their power from, has looked at what we've developed and has asked that we draft a formal plan, because they would like to roll this out as an offering for all of their 59 other communities. One of the biggest benefits to it is it's free. We've put a lot of time and effort and work into it, myself and staff, to develop this. It has worked exceptionally well. This is a compliment to the staff that I have and the ability that they have, and also to this community that we can be a leader really statewide. So we're excited about that. We also are in the process, we have offered and expect to have a new employee starting with us on the 7th of March, journeyman lineman from working for one of the cooperatives. We generally don't hire linemen that direction. We usually lose them to the cooperatives, so win-win for the municipalities. But other than that, that's all I have in the way of announcements.
Okay. And new business, talk about the outstanding checks.
Yes, we've got a number of outstanding checks, 13 of them in total. The total amount is $480.06, and I would like to be able to move this on to the Common Council Board to take care of it there.
Okay. I need a motion to please pass this on with favorable, I guess, to the council.
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Any other new business?
No, sir.
Old business?
Have none.
I need a motion to review and discuss the claims for board approval. Moved. Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Need a motion to adjourn? Nobody wants to adjourn?
Moved. Oh, we're having so much fun.
Yeah. Second?
A second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. We're all seated. We'll carry on with the council meeting for tonight. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, could I get a roll call, please?
Member Anthony Abbott. Member Aaron Cook. Member Mel Davis.
Here.
Member Randy Abner.
Here.
Member Paul Seymour Jr.
Here.
Police Chief Don Combs.
Here.
Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine.
Here.
EMS Director Bobby Mills.
Here.
City Attorney Del Weldon.
Here.
Utility Director Olin Clausen.
Present.
Mayor Kelly Malone.
Here.
And myself.
All right, any announcements? Once again, I've got a couple. I wanted to make everybody, I'm sure in this building knows that we had a young man here in our school system that was a state champion wrestler over the weekend. I believe a 220-pound weight class, Mason Paris, and first time ever that we've had a state champion wrestler in Lawrenceburg, and I think it's in the county, actually, in all three schools. So we actually, Mr. Messmore stood in for me today, so I had the funeral, but Lawrenceburg, we decided to make today Mason Paris Day here in Lawrenceburg, and went over to the pep session this afternoon and made that proclamation, and well-deserved young man. He's not only a good wrestler and a good athlete, but just a fine, humble young man. So I expect he's only a sophomore. So I expect we'll get. I didn't get to have Mr. Messmore announce this, but we'll have signs put at the entrances to the city limits. Something relative to home of Mason Paris, state champion wrestler 2016, but we'll leave spots for 2017 and 18 as well. So I think as a freshman last year, he got third in the state, so in a different weight class, but pretty outstanding young man. So it's something to be proud of. I like reporting on the positives, that's for sure. The other announcement I got is I'd like to have our safety coordinator, Mike Abney, come to the podium and just talk about the elected officials training that he's presenting to people sitting up here, actually.
Thank you, Your Honor. We do have some upcoming training from Bliss McKnight. It's employment practical liability training for all department heads, elected officials, supervisor, personnel, and what I'm asking the council is to get with Connie or myself so that we can get scheduled. We're hoping for the 1st of March to get this training in. Bliss McKnight will bring their attorney, so we need to try to get our schedules together so we can get this training taken care of as soon as we can. That's all I have, Mayor.
All right, so we owe you, what, 2 hours, I think, for our...
Yes, it's a 2-hour class.
Okay. So we'll need to get him a date where we can make that happen so you can make the arrangements to get them here, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll do that.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Anybody got any questions regarding that? Okay. All right, I need any other announcements from anybody else? Welcome, Tony.
Thank you. It was a long drive from Florida.
I bet it was. I bet it was. Glad to have you home safe. I need a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
Moved.
Second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Committee reports, Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine.
No report.
All right. Police Chief Don Combs Jr.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple items. We are moving forward with our firearm safety course. We just recently got our waiver of liability approved by our insurance. So we are moving forward with that, hopefully soon. I'm getting with my firearms instructor, is getting that line together, and we'll get that going.
Okay.
So all the citizens, there'll be, be announcement in the paper and all that, so they will have so many people at this one course. So we'll do it a couple of times a year, so I'm excited about that. The other thing is we are hosting a training with the IDEA, the Indiana Drug Enforcement Association. They're going to come down here in May, and I have gotten with Chief Tremaine to use a firehouse on this, and it's a big group that does all of our mandate training, most of our mandate training. So now I'm also getting with our safety coordinator Mike Abden on this, and so he can be involved in this as well. So
okay.
Things are moving real well. Things are going real good.
Good.
With that, that's all I have.
All right. EMS Director Bobby Mills.
Just remind council they should have a copy of the run statistics for January. If they got any questions, feel free to ask me after the meeting. Whatever.
All right.
That's all I have.
Okay. All right. New business. Let me make an announcement first. We're trying to be committed to getting 3 bids whenever we put work out that we need to have done. And what we run across a lot of times is we have a pre-qualification process that we want our contractors to go through regarding their safety record and things like that. So what we're asking, and if you know anybody in the audience or knows of any contractors that would like to possibly do some work here in Lawrenceburg, we ask that they get with Safety Coordinator Mike Abden and get pre-qualified, because the more people we got bidding on jobs, the better price we usually get. So we're just asking, we're trying to build that amount of pre-qualified contractors that we have. And then one other announcement was the summer help job fair that we posted last Wednesday night from 3 to 6, and then Saturday morning from 9 to 12. Mainly that was for high school students to be able to come over and fill out an application, actually go through an interview, and ask questions and things. And we had, I think, a total of like 44 students that came over and filled out an application, so we were excited about that. And then we also will have the college age. We're keeping the application process open till March 31st, so we can get the college kids in over their spring break. But seem to have a very positive response from the kids on that, and I thank Jenny Felix and others, Mario and Carl and others that spent their time to interview these kids. I appreciate that. First item under new business, Mark Kaniga, Lawrenceburg Hill Race.
Good evening, Your Honor. Apologize, my voice is a little raspy.
That's all right.
But, I'm here to ask for your approval again this year to help support the race we started last year called the Lawrenceburg Hill. I don't really need to go into any detail about what it's all about. I think everybody in the room in this part of the country is very familiar with it. I was approached back in October, November, by one of the previous administrators to partner up with the city to do a bicycle race. They were in the process of doing a bicycle race, wanted to join with us to get more people downtown. Since then, I've spoken with Mr. Messmore this morning. Somehow the dates may have gotten mixed up, because I had August the 20th, which is the date that I went and made arrangements to do the race, which we're still on for that, but Mr. Messmore said that date has changed, or he was not aware of it being August the 20th.
For the bicycle race you're talking?
The whole reason was to have the race in the morning, to get people there, and to bring them over to here. I don't know, have you had a chance, Mr. Messmore, to check on that anymore?
I can speak on that, Mark. What it was, when we were approached again this year to host that bike race, and it's to the point where you almost have to take the date that they give you. So maybe next year we can, when we get our date for that, maybe we can do a comparable date or the same date for this race, because I think that would be a great thing to do the same day.
And that was the date I was told it was this year.
Oh, okay.
I'd had another week, but it's fine.
Okay.
We can work on that going into the future.
Okay.
But, I have spoken with Mr. Messmore, and he's also spoken with Mr. Mills, Mr. Tremaine, and Mr. Combs, or Chief Combs, and they've agreed to support us. Last year was a huge success. We raised in excess of $11,000 for the Lawrence Fight for Cure. I just want to point out a little thing here. There's the Lawrence Fight for Cure and the Fight for the Cure. They're two separate things. All the money we raise here stays here locally within this community. The discretionary spending is a lot more flexible than the Fight for the Cure. Now, the Fight for the Cure is an awesome organization, but their sole purpose is to find a cure. Our purpose is to assist individuals, families, kids, whatever, that are going through this awful event. So just wanted to make that known. This money will stay locally here in the community.
Good.
If not the counties. Last year, I think it was a great success. We had over 413 registered runners, walkers. About 370 showed up, which is pretty good. We're hoping to draw more than that this year because last year we were competing against a very big race in Cincinnati called the Hyde Park Blast. It gathers about 4,000 runners. So I had some feedback from some runners that I know throughout the city, and they indicated that they would come down and participate. So we're hoping to pick up a bunch more on that.
Good.
In addition to that, we're partnering up with the Cincinnati Reds this year. So anyone that runs the race will get a voucher for a coupon for a ticket. In addition to that, they will have a parade on the field for those participating. So that's one thing, and there's another item we're working on. We're still in the we're trying to make this a community event where we can get people to come to Lawrenceburg, spend the day here, visit our restaurants, shops, so forth. We're working on final details to bring some kind of amateur MMA or martial arts to the high school. Don't know exactly how that's all going to work out. There's a lot of details, as you can imagine, but that. We're trying to pump it up a little bit this year.
Are you participating in that, too?
Only if you do. Mr. Tony. No, I have no desire to do that. None. So I guess that's all I really have. In addition to sponsoring or supporting the race, I would also ask if you guys are in favor of supporting this event, that in the event we need overflow parking, that we could use the fairgrounds. Last year, we used some of the campus on the east end, St. Lawrence, and the downtown area. I even thought about making them park down at the parking garage and walk up, but I don't think that would go too well. So with that, if anyone has any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Any questions from you guys?
Oh, just one more. Last year, we kind of got a little late start, and what I will do after, if you guys approve this, is I will go to the state. The state has to grant a permit for us to basically shut down US 50. They were very gracious last year about doing that, and I will need a letter from Chief Combs stating to that they will support the race, provided a favorable recommendation.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I need a motion to accept Mr. Kendiga's request to hold the race on August the 20th. Is that right, Mark?
I'll make the motion.
All right, Randy. Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. And I also, in your packet, there was an entry form. I'd like to see each and every one of you is there.
I'll drive around.
Thanks. I'll take one.
And I would like to apologize. I have to leave. I have another commitment. I didn't want you to think I was
Fine.
just here running out. But thank you very much.
Thanks, Mark. Okay, next item is Mr. Weldon, additional appropriation ordinance.
Thank you, Your Honor. We have today the additional appropriations ordinance, which is ordinance number 2-2016 for the year. This was an ordinance that was advertised for the last meeting, the February 1st meeting, and it was tabled. And so, with your permission, Your Honor, I'd like to go forward with the first reading, at least today. And I'll read it verbatim. City of Lawrenceburg, Indiana, additional appropriation ordinance number 2-2016. Whereas it has been determined that it is now necessary to appropriate more money than was originally appropriated in the annual budget, now therefore, Section 1, be it ordained by the City of Lawrenceburg, Dearborn County, that for the expenses of the taxing unit, the following additional sums of money are hereby appropriated out of the funds named and for the purposes specified, subject to laws governing the same. Fund name, Riverboat, and then amount requested, amount approved by Common Council. Major budget classification, personal services, $219,834. Supplies, $4,000. Total for the Riverboat Fund, $223,834.
Okay. All right, do I have a motion to approve the first reading of the additional appropriations ordinance?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I think now if we'd go ahead and do the second and third reading since we had since the motion was carried unanimously.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. I would ask at this time for a vote to suppress the rules of procedure and proceed to the second and third and final readings tonight.
Do I have a motion to suspend the rules, have the second and third readings of the additional appropriations ordinance?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Your Honor, if it pleases Your Honor, then I would ask also for a motion to suspend the rules and allow the reading of the appropriation ordinance by title only.
Okay, do I have a motion to suspend the rules of procedure and have the second reading of the additional appropriations ordinance by title only?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you, Your
Motion
Honor.
carries.
Second reading, City of Lawrenceburg, Indiana, additional appropriation ordinance number 2-2016.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the second reading of the additional appropriations ordinance?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Your Honor. And for the third and final reading, City of Lawrenceburg, Indiana, additional appropriation ordinance number 2-2016. And for this vote, Your Honor, we would ask for the approval of the third and final reading, and also for specifically the approval of the amounts requested. As you see in the ordinance from the packet, those amounts would then transfer over to the lines under amount approved by Common Council.
Okay. Do I need a motion to approve the third and final reading of the additional appropriations ordinance?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next item, Mr. Weldon, just an update on any litigation.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. I recently attended a federal settlement conference in the Doug Taylor case. The Doug Taylor case is pending in federal court. That is set for trial on the 21st day of March. The case was not settled. Settlement is something that's ordered in federal cases. It's presided over by a magistrate who attempts to have the parties resolve their differences based on demands and monies that could be paid to resolve the pending legal issues. That case was not settled. At this point, it does appear to be headed for the March 21st trial date, although I did speak with our insurance attorney, who is lead counsel for the case. He indicated that he would be asking for continuance. I don't know if that'll be granted or not. If the matter goes to trial, then I'll sit second chair with him and try the case and represent the city. I do have to communicate to council that the Taylor legal team did communicate that they would accept half of the amount that they've demanded, which is approximately $950,000. And so that is, I suppose, an offer that they made. And when an offer is made, it's my duty to communicate that to you as council.
So they would accept half of the 950?
Yes.
Okay. So 950 wasn't the half?
No, it'd be one half of the 950.
475, okay.
And to let you know, just in terms of payment, so the city of Lawrenceburg does have insurance that provides protection and coverage for cases such as this and other cases, not to get into in too much detail, but this is a case that our insurance carrier is handling. And so if there's a recovery at trial, then at least part of that money would be paid by the insurance provider. However, there are monies that could be required to be paid by the city, so there is some exposure for the city, and so we'll be keeping a close eye on whether or not that actually goes to trial.
Okay. All right. Any questions?
Yeah, I got a question.
Yep.
About a year ago, I listened from sitting in one of them seats. Who is the legal counsel that you're going to be sitting beside? Is it the same ones that that we could not lose and we ended up paying twice as much? I'm asking a question, not to be a smart aleck, but up on the end of Walnut and High, we had a no-lose situation, and we had another law firm, and all I'm wanting to know is it the same law firm that represented us in that case?
It is, Mr. Seymour, and you're speaking of the Middle Earth litigation. That was a case that was tried
Yes, sir.
to a jury here in Dearborn County. There are vast number of differences between that case and this case, but to answer your question, yes, it is one of the same attorneys. It is the same law firm. Our attorney for the Doug Taylor matter is an attorney named Jeremy Diltz, who is actually a local person, an excellent attorney who works for an excellent law firm called Carson Boxberger. His office is in Bloomington, Indiana. But they are a law firm that is hired by the insurance company because the insurance company is handling this case. So they're accepting the potential liability. They choose the attorney. So it is the same attorney, but I can tell you that in my limited time representing the city, I have met with Jeremy a number of times, had the opportunity to spend some time with him during the settlement conference, and I'm very impressed. He's an excellent attorney, and he definitely has the city's best interests at heart.
And the reason why you gave us the other information about the 900 and some thousand was just for information purposes only, right? No, you don't want us taking any action.
No, but I do have a legal duty to communicate any settlement offers to the council.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thanks, Dell.
Thank you.
All right, next item, Dell, is to give us a little bit of an update on the loans, outstanding loans.
Yes, in the loans that we speak of on the agenda are the revolving loan committee loans, and so those are just one group of loans that the city administers, but that group of loans was grouped together, and there was a meeting in December where there was some proposed action that was voted upon in conjunction with a third-party law firm and also a third-party accounting firm, which is an accounting firm that we use together. It's my understanding that they formulated a plan. That plan was approved by a council meeting that followed a revolving loan committee meeting. However, that plan involved the possibility of creating some litigation, and so obviously in December, the idea of initiating litigation or putting the city on, putting a new administration and a new corporation counsel or city attorney on the hook for litigation was not an ideal situation, and so those same reports are being used by the new administration to weigh the possible next steps. Obviously, that is something that will be controlled by you as council, and I can tell you that we have worked and are continuing to work very hard to educate ourselves as to the work that has already been done and to formulate a good plan that protects the city, that recovers money, and that should happen much, much sooner than later.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, thanks, Dell.
Thank you.
All right, next, I'd like to, we're going to take the opportunity to officially swear in Mr. Joe Johns to the office of city judge, and so we'd like to do that at this point, as soon as I can find my paper. Okay. I, Joseph Ryan Johns,
I, Joseph Ryan Johns,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and diligently
and diligently
discharge my duty
discharge my duty
as judge of the Lawrenceburg City Court
as a judge of the Lawrenceburg City Court,
and will support the Constitution of the United States
and will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana
to the best of my skill and ability,
to the best of my skill and ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
right. Next item is, again, Mr. Weldon, resolution number 2. This coincides with Mr. Johns.
Thank you, Your Honor. And this is a resolution, so only one reading is required, and I'll read the resolution verbatim. This is resolution number 1-2016, perf coverage for the city court judge position. Whereas the city of Lawrenceburg has established a judicial branch in the form of the City Court of Lawrenceburg under Code Section 30.61 of the Lawrenceburg Municipal Code. And whereas the City Court of Lawrenceburg is to be presided over by the city court judge, duly elected or appointed pursuant to Indiana law under Section 30.60 of the Lawrenceburg Municipal Code. And whereas the City of Lawrenceburg has made available to its employees a pension plan referred to as Public Employees Retirement Fund, also known as PERF. And whereas the city court judge is an employee of the city of Lawrenceburg, and whereas the position of judge for Lawrenceburg City Court should be made a part of the PERF pension plan, retroactive to the date of appointment or election. Whereas the city of Lawrenceburg agrees to make the required contributions under the Public Employees Retirement Act, which is the Act of 1945, Chapter 340, and all acts amendatory thereof and supplemental thereto. Whereas the Common Council, as a governing body of the city of Lawrenceburg and Dearborn County in the state of Indiana, approves of this action and further acknowledges its liability, and that pursuant to the law and its successors in office must appropriate sufficient funds each year in an orderly manner and fund the current cost accruing annually. Now therefore be it resolved that the judge of the Lawrenceburg City Court be made a member and part of the PERF pension plan with all benefits and privileges appertaining thereto. And Your Honor, I would just ask for a vote to approve the resolution. And before we do that, I guess I could explain very briefly. The PERF pension plan is a pension plan that is offered to Lawrenceburg city employees, and so consistent with past practices, any new employee of the city of Lawrenceburg would be offered the ability to participate in the PERF pension plan, as well as the other benefits that are offered. Recently, our city court judges have been retired city employees or police officers who have already vested in the plan, and that seems to be the reason why the PERF plan was not part of the city court judge position. And so this resolution, or proposed resolution, would be to add that position back to the PERF plan.
Any questions? Okay, I need a motion to accept resolution number 2 relating to PERF for Mr. Joe Johns.
So be it.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Resolution number 1. I'm sorry.
So be it.
Okay. Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Olin Clausen, cancellation of outstanding checks.
Thank you, Your Honor. As a matter of business, we should have taken this up a couple of weeks ago, last meeting, but anyway, here we are. The utilities have got a number of checks, as I mentioned earlier, 13 of them in total, for a total dollar amount of $480.06 that we would like for permission to write off.
Okay. All right, need a motion to accept Mr. Clausen's request to write off the outstanding checks totaling $480.06. Need a motion? Moved. Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, next, Ms. Christy Potts, please.
Hi, good
Hi
evening. My name is Christy Potts. I'm from the Pregnancy Care Center of Southeast Indiana. We are looking for approval for our upcoming event. It's a 5K walk run. We've been in the city of Lawrenceburg for the past 26 years. We provide all of our services free of charge to all of our clients. And every year we do a fundraiser. This is one of our biggest fundraisers every year. And for the last several years, we've had it at the Lawrenceburg Levee. We've outgrown that space, truthfully, which is why I'm looking for approval to have it through the downtown area.
Will you be traveling on US 50?
No.
Okay.
No, strictly just in downtown Lawrenceburg.
Okay. What's the date for
April
that?
the 23rd. The walk and run would begin at 9 a.m. We should be clear by 10:30 or 11 at the latest.
Okay. probably need to talk with Mr.
I have
Chief
already.
Combs and, okay,
I've talked with him already, and he was
Okay.
great on that.
okay. All right. Any other questions for Ms. Potts? Okay, I need a motion to accept her request to have the 5K event down through the streets of downtown Lawrenceburg.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very
much. Sherry Myers, parking issues. We settled that this week. What that was relating to was retail merchants here on Walnut Street, basically between Center and Tate, I believe it is. We're finding it difficult for their patrons to find parking, mainly due to, I think, some of our businesses' employees parking in the spots where there is parking behind their establishments where what they could use as far as the parking lot. So what we decided to do is we're going to install 2-hour parking signs on both sides of the street from Tate Street to Center Street. That's correct, Mr. Clark?
That is correct.
And any idea when we're expecting that to be done?
Actually, I'm scheduled to meet with sign guys in the morning.
Okay.
To go over the location.
Okay, great. So I was I just wanted to give you guys an update on that. Any questions about that? Okay. All right. Want to help out the downtown merchants. All right. Ms. Pat Kreider here? I guess we will table that. Oh, are you speaking on her behalf? Okay. Come to the podium then, please.
Hi, thank you for having me. My name's Lori Enright. I am on the board of Lawrenceburg Main Street. I've been on the board for 2 years and on the promotions committee for 3 years. I'm here in place of Pat, who could not be with us tonight. She had a previously scheduled trip out of town prior to knowing that this meeting was going to be moved to tonight. So she selected me to come in and talk to you about the events proposal. Do you all have that? She told me that it was sent to you last week.
I don't see it. You guys see yours? You got a copy?
Yes.
Is this it?
Yeah, that's it. I didn't have it in my packet, but I've got it now.
Pat asked me to come in and talk because of the fact that I've been on this committee for the last few years, so I've been a part of planning these events that are on the proposal. As you're all aware, the budget for Main Street last year was cut almost completely in half, leaving us with funding to do Music on the River and to maintain operations as is, but the budget for 2016 would eliminate the 6 additional events that are on this proposed budget. As many of you know, you probably attend a lot of the events that we have down here yourselves, whether it's for yourself or you bring your kids or your family down to do the Youth Fest or our Farmers Market or Party in the Street and the annual pub crawl, which are more of 21 and up events. We were asked when you attended our meeting to put together a proposal that we think would offer additional monies that would be able to cover the expenses of these events. As a committee, we went back and looked at what we were spending on events over the last several years, and we made cuts to each of those events to make sure that we were still able to put them on effectively, but to possibly reduce the amount spent on those various events. For example, the Youth Fest and Community Yard Sale previously was 3 weekends out of a summer. We'd do one in June, July, and August. This year, we take that back to condensing it down to one event, one large community event. That way, a lot of the funding that goes to that, such as portalettes and the tents and the tables and those types of things, we wouldn't have to expend dollars more than one time. I don't know if you have some questions on specific events. Pat did want me to mention, though, that additional monies in this proposed budget would not include the upcoming boat or bike races or the bicentennial celebration, that we would touch on that at a later date.
Great. Ms. Enright, correct, when their budget was cut at 50%, but I think they did include monies for Music on the River, which was part of that original budget. And what we suggested to them was to come to council with a proposal for what they need to put on the summer events. What this made them do, and as Lori alluded to, was they looked at it on how they could maybe save money on each event rather than just inflating their budget, or not that they did that intentionally, but it really made them look at each event, I think, and really determine what they needed for the event rather than what they would like to see. So, so that was what I had requested from them. So, anybody have any questions? I think the total budget for all 6 events is $31,115.
And actually, that's a little more than 6 events per se, because Party in the Street would be 3. Your farmer's market is an ongoing summer, but for the bulk purposes, it's 6 separate events.
Right.
Including the moving of the annual meeting from Ivy Tech to the Event Center, just working towards a better working relationship between Main Street and the city and the Event Center there. And they did offer that to us at a wonderful discounted rate as well. So I know they're trying to work with us too.
What's the rate at Ivy Tech?
0.
0.
Yeah. Don't they have to pay for catering, Lori?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, my apologies. No, it is technically not 0. Thank you, Mel. It is 0 for the location, but Main Street would pay the several local restaurants down here to cater different foods. So everything we have down here, somebody would bring maybe what their featured items are, and then Main Street would cover the cost of that as well.
So we'd be putting a little bit back into the community then?
If it's remains at Ivy Tech, the money going to the restaurants would go back into the community. If we move it to the Event Center, which was also recommended to us to do in hopes of establishing and creating those ties, I guess the money per se would also go back into the community. It would just go to the Event Center instead of the local restaurants.
And Kelly, when we were at the last meeting, was there any, if I remember right, Mel, you might remember too, but wasn't there some money that you told them to transfer that's been sitting there for quite a while?
Yeah, and they were going to do that. That was for operating expenses for the remainder of the year. That was the monies they were going to use for operating expenses. For the events, we had asked them to come back with a proposal for the summer events. Or for the remainder, I guess it's include Winter Wonderland as well, so.
Yeah, the Winter Wonderland is actually a separate grant that we received through the foundation.
Right.
Though when I met with Pat, she explained to me that that money is only allowed to be used for certain things. So a lot of the things we do in Winter Wonderland, parades, the prizes, the different programs throughout the course of that are not covered in that grant money. And also she said that most times we don't receive 100% of what we ask within the grant as well.
Right. And just to let people know, this does not include the boat race that we're going to have in June or the bike race in June, because those were events that we just recently added to their plate, so to speak. We're using the Main Street as the conduit to be the point people on those events.
I mean, if I may interject, really what it comes down to is Main Street, and we've talked in the meetings, is not a business to make money. So covering these events literally covers our expenses. There's no income that's coming in that we're able to save and build a bank account based off of that. But also because of the fact that these types of events really are used to build community ties. We have a great community here to live in, and when kids growing up, you know, they get to go and do these different things throughout the summer, and they build memories. Ultimately, it gives them their reason to come back here and live and raise a family and work and play. And if we're not giving them something to take with them as long as they grow up, it doesn't really give them much of a reason to come back here and live the rest of their life. And we're going to need young people to come back to keep all of this going as well.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. I need a motion then to accept the proposal for the events totaling approximately $31,115. I need a motion.
Move.
Second?
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, the next item is under mine, but we're going to table that. That fell through. That's no longer going to happen, so no reason to talk about that. Okay, the next item is the Mr. Weldon, the second and third readings of the amendment to the salary ordinance.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I would ask for a motion to, again, waive the normal rules of procedure and allow the reading to be done by title only. We read the full ordinance verbatim at the February 1st meeting.
Right. Okay, can I have a motion to suspend the rules to have the second reading of the amended salary ordinance by title only, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is titled Ordinance Number 1-2016, an amendment to Ordinance Number 15-2015.
Okay, I need a motion to accept the amended salary ordinance.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Your Honor. And for the third and final reading, I would again ask to suspend the rules and read by title only.
Can I get a motion to suspend the rules to have the third and final reading of the amended salary ordinance by title only, please?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Your Honor. And the third and final reading of Ordinance Number 1-2016, an amendment to Ordinance Number 15-2015.
Okay, we have a motion. I need a motion for the final reading of the proposed amendment to the 2016 salary ordinance.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, I think we got anything else to bring up here. Comments from the audience. If you have a comment, please come to the podium and go ahead, Pam.
Pam Regacci, everybody knows me. I asked this question at the redevelopment meeting, and they told me that they couldn't tell me the answer, because a gentleman came up and wanted to buy 5 lots, and he has a loan with the city, and he's received grant money. And he's currently up to date on his payments, was what was said, okay? And I've sat through all these loan meetings, and I've not said a word, but up to date on your payments, to me, means that you're current with your contract, okay? And if your balloon was due a year ago, or 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, you're not up to date on your contract.
Okay.
And I don't understand how the city would even entertain the thought of entering into another business agreement with someone who hasn't met their requirements for their last loan.
Okay.
But I looked up the words balloon payment, because nobody could tell me that these people weren't within whatever the contracts were. And a balloon payment is a payment that is due at the end. It's usually in a commercial account, not so much in mortgages. And they said there's a thing called, hold on, I've got it right here. There's a thing called, the final payment is called a balloon payment. Because of its large amount, balloon payment mortgages are more common in commercial real estate than residential real estate. A balloon payment mortgage may be a fixed or floating interest rate. The most common way of describing a balloon uses the technology X do whatever, that's not even the important part. But it says that if that person can't make the balloon payment, then usually the next step, it's a two-step, it's called a balloon payment at the end is a term, it's a two-step mortgage plan, may be used with balloon payments. Under the two-step plan, sometimes refers to a reset option. This reset option usually takes that loan and it'll rewrite the loan, but it rewrites it at the current interest rate. All of these people in these loans that are paying payments and saying they're current, because they're not reported anywhere, these people can go out and borrow another $3 million, $2 million, $1 million anywhere and put themselves in even more financial loan. They're not paying you guys. They're not paying us taxpayers. So I want, when people come here and they say that they're current on their payments, they're not. Okay? Because the balloon payment, if it was due and it wasn't paid, you're not current on your payments. And I don't think, as a taxpayer, I'm comfortable with the city entering into more agreements with people who haven't met their current agreements. And I just wanted to bring that up because I know that we talked about the loans and they touched on it in redevelopment, but they told me they couldn't answer my question as to why if the balloon payment hasn't been made, they're still considered current on their payments. Can you guys answer that?
Well, I'll tell you my take on it. The balloon payments you're talking about for a number of these loans that we're speaking to, quite a few of them were due back in 2011 or whatever
5 years ago, yeah.
the case may be, and it's just one of many things that we inherited, and we're going to deal with those. So that's all I can speak to it about. I mean, we haven't entered into any agreement with anybody that I'm aware of. I mean, we haven't done it in
Well, I know that all the
we
past loan meetings were public, and I don't know if you guys are holding them in private or not, because I came to every loan meeting.
No.
You know, and the last administration, you know, the last city attorney, I was not happy with her answers on almost anything that was ever asked. You know, I really believe you have a better attorney at this point, just a personal opinion, you know, but...
I sit next to him, you know.
I know, and his head's already this big, but I mean, I just wanted to throw that out there, because there is a right to follow. You know, if you're going to rewrite these loans, please don't give them at 1%, because you're just taking more money away from the city. Do what the two-step program says. You know, make these people rewrite them if they want to, put them at the current rate, and make them sign a new contract and do the paperwork properly.
Or possibly have them get a loan somewhere else, huh?
If they could get a loan somewhere else, they
And we
would
get
come
our
to the
money
city.
right now.
You know, but they're, I mean, you know, and please don't enter into any more agreements with these people that already haven't met the agreements that the past council has entered into. I don't think that's fair to the citizens to give these people any more sweet deals when they haven't taken care of the sweet deal they got. I mean, that's just, I just wanted to throw that out there because it really bothers me. It's bothered me. If I didn't pay my mortgage payment, I couldn't sit there for 3 years and live in my house. You know, and again, none of these people, not one of these loans has ever been reported to a credit agency or anything. But when the concrete deal came through and people didn't pay their concrete, they took them to court and it went on their credit report. Okay, and if you can take somebody to court for $900 and ding their credit, why the heck can't you do this to these people who owe millions? I mean, this has bothered me and I've not said anything.
No, I appreciate your comments.
And I know you guys
I don't know what
are
else
new
to
to this.
say at this point, but...
but it's things that need to be taken into consideration. And redevelopment couldn't help me, and they were, you know, I don't know if they were ready to enter into this agreement with this guy or what, but I'm not comfortable with that.
Okay.
You know, I wouldn't do it, and I consider myself level-headed, you know, but I just don't see giving somebody else a sweet deal that hasn't met up to the requirements of their last sweet deal.
Okay. Thank you.
That's all I got to say.
All right. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor, Counsel. I just have kind of a light comment, but thank you, Pam. My name is Jim Jung. I graduated from Lawrenceburg High School in 1973. I was born and raised here. I was in Detroit since '79. I just moved back home a couple of weeks ago. I just want to say it's good to be home, number one. And then just a little more on the Mason Paris Day. Everybody over at the high school and at various places in this town are student athletes. And Mason has a 4.2 grade average, so I'd just like to encourage everybody, come to the games, get neighbors to the games. Just when there are games, talk it up a little more. It helps. It supports everybody financially as well. For me, I hadn't been to games down here for a long time. I went to 2 high school games last week. I'm not giving myself a pat on the back, but it's a lot of fun. So it's just something we might remind ourselves of. And then a little light note. There's a football record in this town at Lawrenceburg High School that goes back 45 years. Mason's going to be a junior this year. That record, I have a feeling, is going to fall this year when he's a junior. So it's all the more reason, besides good prospects for a football team in the fall, to come out and see some history made. So that record was set when the kid was a junior. Mason's going to be a junior this year. I think it'll fall this year. So thanks.
Thanks, Jim. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Members of council. My name's Edward Opp. I'm the fire chief at Hogan Township Fire Department, just outside the city limits of Aurora. It came to our attention that the fire department was going to downsize a little bit, and they may have an engine for sale. And we're very interested in it. We've taken a look at it, and they graciously brought it out and had us, fit in our garage was the biggest.
Okay.
We have a very small department. This may not be the appropriate place to ask, but I asked for the notion or the idea that maybe the city could donate that truck to our department. I'm asking a big favor, but we're very small. Our budget's like $30,000 a year, and we struggle to maintain that, and that truck would be a great asset for us. The high school is in the school campus, South Dearborn School Campus, excuse me, is in our area, and that truck's a perfect fit. It'll improve our service with that, and as well as the residents in our community and surrounding communities when we're called for aid. So I'd just like to put that out there. I'm not asking for a decision,
right?
But I'd like you to at least entertain the thought of that.
Okay, we'll take it under advisement. One thing I will tell you is this has happened in the past, and we've had discussions regarding this kind of a option where Lawrenceburg has sold a vehicle or whatever for $1, and then somebody turns around and they sell it, and
I understand.
So we've gotten burnt on that in the past. I mean, obviously not our administration, but previous administrations had gotten burnt on it. But we'll take it under advisement, and we appreciate your request.
I can tell you, many years ago, Lawrenceburg sold us a truck for $1, and we kept that truck for a little while, and we got the opportunity to sell those 2 trucks. We had a buyer, and purchase our very first brand-new pumper truck in 1997.
Yeah.
And we went to the bank and borrowed the money. We used the money from the 2 trucks that we sold, and we were able to get that truck. It was our very first brand-new truck we've ever had.
Great.
So even though we did sell one of your trucks, the benefit...
I didn't even know it was you guys.
Well, I'm just saying, I want to just...
I'm not trying to put you on the spot there.
We're guilty. We did that. But it was, but the money that we got out of those vehicles, we put towards that.
Right.
That brand-new truck.
I understand.
We still have that brand-new truck to this day. It's a great truck.
Okay.
And, but I would entertain, we'll sign an agreement that we won't sell it. And if we, in fact, would donate it to somebody else if we got rid of it. But we anticipate keeping it a long time.
Okay.
It's a
Well,
nice
thank you.
truck.
Thank you. Any questions from up here? Thank you for your,
All right, thank you.
for your request. Thanks. Anyone else? All right. I need what we got to do here? We need a motion to review and discuss claims for board approval.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks for coming out tonight. Bad, Alan, 15?
For the safety.
How you doing? Oh, you can hold, man. Here goes me.
Office manager or do I have to attend or not?
Catch up on your buddy here, see if he's doing all right.
That's fine.
We'll talk about